Barbie! I told you to wait in the dream house.
Boys, avenge me! Avenge me! Avengers!
Bazinga.
Scruffy-looking nerve herders.
Ethan Hunt contacted you?
I am good, Rooster. I'm very good.
So you are Yoi's a trainer who trains.
Gonzo the Great will ride this baby again.
Hello and welcome to episode 78 of the Real Serious Podcast. Happy 4th of July after the facts. We're a few days after the fact, but happy 4th of July to all those out there. Big episode today, talking some Jurassic World, some 4th of July movie draft we'll get to, and 2 book adaptations we'll jump onto later. But first, Jack, how are we, man? Did you have a good 4th?
I'm good. I had a great 4th. I hung out with some friends and just it's a great time. And you sent me the text about the 4th of July movie draft, and I was like, it got me thinking. I'm like, what good 4th of July movies are there? And then it's like, whatever you think is a 4th of July movie, I guess is a 4th of July movie.
Yeah, that's what I like about this draft is you can kind of go some different ways with it.
Like Inception, is that a 4th of July movie?
If you think so. Hey, if you think so.
But I was pretty happy looking at the box office and seeing that Jurassic World was doing pretty well, because I think I had that at 2 or 3 on.
Yeah, no, Jurassic is running it in the box office right now.
Yeah.
I mean, just absolutely going crazy. Which, Jurassic is basically box office gold no matter what. Every single time.
It's insane. It's shocking.
Yeah.
That it just continues to deliver. And I love the meme that I sent you and Charlie. I think I sent it this morning or yesterday. But it's like the meme of the farmer with all the milk pails running out to the really skinny cow that's just been worked to death.
Just
and
worked
it's
to death.
And I'm honestly excited to talk about the movie. I feel like it was definitely interesting, and I feel like there's a
we all had it.
cover.
We all have Jurassic in our top 5. I'm looking at it right now.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe did I have it at 2 or 3?
You have it at 2. Charles had it at 5, and I had it at 4.
Well, right now it's headed to I guess be number 1 if it continues to dominate like it's doing. So I think just saw that I also saw that Minecraft was surpassed by Lilo and Stitch, I want to say. So Lilo and Stitch.
None of us had Lilo and Stitch, which is
I think you had Lilo and Stitch in the top 5.
No, I didn't.
Really?
My wild pick was The Bad Guys 2, which is not looking good. I don't know. That's not till August, but I'm less confident as the year goes on.
Hey, well, who knows? Maybe the bad guys, the fanatics will show up when you need them most.
Yeah. I mean, right now Lilo and Stitch is at 2 behind Neza 2, which is an animated movie. Actually, the biggest animated movie of all time. So
that's insane. That just like
Neza
that went,
2. I
feel like it went so under the radar, and it just blew up. I think it was majority of its money coming from China.
So actually, if you Neza 2 actually is the 8th highest grossing movie of all time.
Yeah, that's insane.
And 98.9% of it is from international. It only made 20 million domestic, but made 1.87 internationally.
That's insane.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I guess
2.5-hour
movies to
animated
watch.
movie.
I feel like that's necessary. Maybe watch the first one and then watch this one, and maybe give it a quick review once we get to a good point in time.
Mission Impossible sticking up there, which is great. You both had Snow White, which I did not have.
In the top 10?
I believe so, if I'm looking at it again. Let me see. I know Charles definitely did.
I hope I didn't.
Charles had it, I think, at 2. Let's see.
I hope not. I don't think I had mine in there. Let me see. I can probably pull up mine right now.
All right, I got it loaded up here. This is great podcasting, by the way. We're really doing a good job. Charles had it at 3. Ooh.
Oh, man.
Yikes. Sorry, Chuck.
I got mine right now, and I had Karate Kid at 10. That's just
that's tough as well.
Oof. Yeah, but mine right now, it's still possible. Fantastic Four, Superman at 4 and 5, Zootopia 3, Jurassic Park 2, Avatar 1, Mission Impossible at 6. Is that even close? Right? I mean,
Mission Impossible is a 4 right now.
Yeah, I mean, if obviously there's not a lot of I think Superman and Fantastic
The
Four
gap
definitely
between
bump it
3
down.
and 4 is large. I mean,
Really?
Minecraft's at 954 at 3, and Mission Impossible's at 4 at 576.
Oh wow! So
So,
Jurassic
big
Park
jump.
will bump that in the next week.
Jurassic's already 9 on the year after 5 days.
That's yeah.
But I mean, Superman does fly into theaters next week, and then Fantastic Four. So we'll see.
Exciting.
We're ahead of ourselves. We're ahead of ourselves talking about that. You know, what's the now? What's the here and now, man? What have you
watched this week?
Look at that synergy.
I know it was just in flow.
Yeah, it was.
It's a good week. I think last week I ended off on The Town, which I really liked, and then I was talking about how I was almost done with Man of Steel. Finished Man of Steel, still sticks for me. I think I still have it at 4.5. Still really like it. Definitely a very specific adaptation of Superman, but I think for me, I really like it, and especially just like it's very Nolan-esque, and as big of a Nolan, fan as I am, I feel like it just sticks for me, and I just love it. And then kind of continuing the Nolan train, I got in to visit Caitlin and some of her friends. They were like they hadn't seen some of the like classic movies, and they were like, "We want to watch Inception." And I'm just like, "Yes." So I got to watch Inception with them this week, and it was just awesome. And I was looking at my Nolan rankings, and I really do think there's just like the top 5 I could like interchange at any point in time. I think they're just all so good. I think Inception, I said it in my review, but literally the last hour is like some of the most entertaining, like I think ever. And
it's so good.
Just the ending with, DiCaprio, just I think one of his best performances alongside like Zimmer giving a great, an all-time score. I think a lot of people hold Time with in very high regard, and I think the supporting cast just does a phenomenal job. So Inception is just like so damn good every single time I've watched it, and it's just reminds me why I love Nolan so much. And we'll get to Nolan a little bit later, but genuinely, I think I could watch any of his movies and just he's a director that has no bad movies. I think I could watch any of them and just still, even Tenet, I think I could watch it and still enjoy it. Then obviously watched Jurassic World Rebirth. I watched another movie this week, but I'm not going to say it. And I didn't log it because I didn't want to like potentially give away anything for the draft.
Oh, okay. I see.
Because I was like, I feel like if I think it's kind of, I don't know if it's sneaky.
There is a 1-1. So Charles, obviously for right now, Charles is not the pod. His flight was unfortunately delayed. So he will not be joining us tonight. Classic Chuck. But next week, well, obviously I'll be here for Superman. So he texted me his 1-1. It is also my 1-1.
Okay.
So I wonder if whoever gets the 1-1 takes it as well, because Charles would have took it from me and I would have took it from Chuck, but I wonder if you would have taken it from us.
I don't know. I'm willing to bet this is not something that you guys would have had at 1-1, but it's also something that I was like, I feel like I could totally pick this, but I didn't want to like put it out there just to like, I don't want someone else to scoop this up. So watch the mystery movie that hopefully we'll get to later.
Okay.
And then watch the all-time classic that is White Chicks.
Nice.
Endlessly rewatchable.
Does it hold up? Does it?
Yes, I think it does. I think it's not like, by no means do I think this is like something I could turn on every day and watch it, but I think just like, watch it now, a couple months later, I watch it again. There's just some timeless and like all time, just like comedic moments in this movie. Like Terry Crews just gives like an all time like masterclass in this movie. And I really do think that if he's not in it, I don't think it's nearly as good, because you could put almost any other actor in there. And I think that, White Chicks doesn't stick as much as it has over the course of the past 20 years. But an all-time blast. I think there's parts of it that I watched in this and we noticed that were like cut out from this one. So it made me question whether I've watched the unrated cut my entire life and was just kind of surprised that they cut out certain things. So I don't know, but that was a fun one. And it was, I don't know. That's a fun one to watch with friends too, just because it's so quotable. I don't know. I mean, even like the TikToks now that are like resurfacing of the dinner scene or the easy white chocolate. I mean, that's just it's. I think
Terry Crews is so good in that movie. He's like on
awesome.
another level in that movie in comparison to everything else I've seen him in. I mean, even when he did Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which was a great show, it was like him chasing that white chicks. And I don't think he ever got there, it's just a hard bar to clear.
Hey, maybe with all the remakes we're getting, maybe we get white chicks too.
Whiter than ever. You never know. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, but that's really all I watched this week. Pretty light week, but at the same time, I feel like I tried to squeeze in, or I got a decent amount in there as much as I could. So
fair enough.
Yeah, what'd you watch this week?
So with Avery here, I partook in some movies that I thought she would like. Because I was like, listen, my taste, her taste, very different. Let's find some common ground. So started off with the 1995 classic Clueless. I don't think I've ever seen Clueless. I liked it. I liked it to a point. I think that Alicia Silverstone works really well here. Paul Rudd, charming as always. I think there's like a level of you got to fall in love with this to like love it, and I just never got to that point. Unfortunately. But then another one that I love is Hitch from 2005. Will Smith. Will Smith might be the most charming man ever to live. I mean, just so good here. Kevin James, also incredible. Eva Mendes, though, I'm sorry. I would not have forgiven her character in this movie. I know that's the whole point, but sorry, Eva. I'm leaving you to the curb. I'm moving. If I'm Will Smith, I'm moving on. And then in anticipation of Jurassic World Rebirth, I was like, let's go back. Let's go see what Steven was doing back in 1993. And let me tell you, Mr. Spielberg, big fan of the podcast, he's just doing it better than anyone else. I mean, this movie is arguably, I would go as far as to say perfect. It is just a insanely amazing like tension, like just the way you fall into the screen on some of these is just so good. The spectacle of it all, the effects that we have today, and we'll talk about it a little bit, I think, when we get to Jurassic World. We have so much more effects when it comes to CGI and like being able to do everything digitally. They never feel more real than they do here. The dinosaurs feel so real here, and it's incredible. Them going back and forth between the practical and then the CGI is amazing. And I think you still feel that wonder, even though obviously it looks more fake now. But like when they stand up in those Jeeps and their jaws drop, you're like, yeah, this is what it's all about. And there's just never been able to capture that wonder ever again. So yeah, 5 stars right there. Then Jurassic World Rebirth. And then Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, the Ultimate Edition I watched today. I think that there's a point in this movie where you can pinpoint where it goes off the rails. And it is the Batman Nightmare Dream sequence. Up until that point, I'm on board. I'm liking what's going on. I really like it. I think that Batman has a great arc. I think, honestly, Clark Kent, Superman has a pretty decent arc. And then that dream sequence comes in, and it just yanks you out of the movie. And from that point on, it gets to a level of weirdness that I don't love. And I think that it loses the strand of an interesting film it had there. Everything with Doomsday is just, I get it, but I'm also not interested in it. I think it was good enough that Lex kind of manipulated the two guys to fight each other. They should have just came back for Lex at the end. The Wonder Woman stuff is good until she shows up as Wonder Woman, and then it's like, we're kind of just doing too much. And I forgot that they introduced the other Justice League members with like a slideshow. It's just like there's a good movie in here, and it just like trips at the finish line in such a way that it takes me out of it. And the fact that they killed Superman in the second outing is just insane to me.
Yeah,
insane.
And I think it's just a continued just this justice to his character, and I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot to love here. I just think there's a lot to love here, especially like I think Ben Affleck's Batman is just one of the most underutilized creations in that whole universe. I think
he's
Ben
good.
Affleck as that Batman is great. I really, really like him, but I agree. I just think there's too many moments where you're just like, whoa. Did you watch the extended edition or did you watch just the standard?
I watched the extended edition, and so in
Okay.
it, Superman has a little bit more to do. He does more of like the
Sure.
Clark Kent Daily Planet stuff.
Yeah.
My big issue with it is he is just so not Superman in this. Like the two
Sure.
scenes that stand out in my mind the most is him with Lois, where he's saying he has to go fight Batman, and he's like so stoic and he's just like downtrodden, and it's like, yeah, he kidnapped your mom and stuff, but it's like that's where you to Lois is like you give her that moment of comfort, and like then you fly off. Yes, you know as Superman that like the world is kind of crumbling down around you, but you give Lois comfort in that moment. I just think that's just a more hopeful thing to do for her. And then the other one where he saves Lois from the water with the Kryptonian, like the Kryptonite spear.
Oh yeah.
It's just like he never felt like, oh my God, I saved her. There's never like a moment of like relaxation, and like he never takes a breath in the way that I think is just so robotic that it doesn't work.
Sure.
But yeah.
I think I mean I feel like it's just Henry Cavill Superman comes up every week.
Yeah.
But I think I don't hate Jesse Eisenberg in this movie.
No, he actually kind of works.
I kind of like him, and I think the more I watch him, the more I like him. And I think it's one of those characters where I think initially when it came out, he got a lot of hate for the character, but I think that character is so like comic, like in your face in the best way it could be. I'm trying to find the perfect words to kind of describe it, but I feel like he's just very like overacting, but I feel like it works. If that makes sense.
No, I'm with you. I think that it works in like that's what they're going for, right? Like they wanted like the weirdo tech billionaire, which is why they literally got the guy who played Mark Zuckerberg to be Lex Luthor. And so like I think in that sense it works. My biggest issue is there's no relationship between Lex and Superman. Like he never meets him in Man of Steel, and then we come around to this one and like they don't have a relationship. And then in the scene where Batman meets Superman at the party, it's like, Bruce Wayne of Gotham and Clark Kent, Metropolis. It's like, why do you know this beat reporter from?
Yeah.
Like I get why. It's just I think that you're missing the connection there. And I think if you spent the time, if you want to make the movie the same length, and you spent the time maybe in the beginning where Luthor clearly knows Clark Kent is Superman, and he grants him an interview, right? And then that interview is like their beginning of their relationship with each other, and they talk about anything you want to talk about. Like the scene, okay, perfect example. The scene where he has with the senator, where he's talking about his father, and then like the painting's upside down. If that was a scene where it's Clark interviewing him, I think that relationship would be so much more dynamic and so much more interesting, because he's literally saying to Superman, like, you're the devil from above. But because it's to a senator that we don't know and blows up 45 minutes into the movie, it means nothing. So that's just where I think that they went. The hubris was a little too much here. Icarus flew a little too close to the sun to call up a Snyder reference. And man, does Snyder love to make the Jesus reference for Superman. I mean, him dying into the arms looking, and then like the broken light poles in the background being crosses. It's like, buddy, we get it. We get the visualism. We get what's going on here. We get what's happening. But yeah, I still don't think it's bad, which is like the frustrating part. Like it's made well. It's just like so, just like blah.
Yeah, I get that.
But yeah, and then the last thing was I got some mail this week. So first up was Good Time. Little Robert Pattinson Good Time. I was listening to some podcasts this week, so I was doing a lot of driving to the airport. And I listened to a podcast that was 4 hours about the Batman throughout the course of the week. And over and over again, Good Time came up, and I was like, I haven't seen Good Time in a long time. So I decided to pick it up. It was on sale. And then next up in my quest for Superman isms is Smallville, the complete box set. It's half off right now. So if you ever thought about getting it, now would be a good time. And I'm gonna make my way through Smallville over the course of the next few months. So yeah,
that's sweet.
Yeah.
You do any shopping for the Criterion collection this week?
I did not do any of the half off, but big news. So there's like 9 locations across America that Barnes and Nobles are going to have the complete Criterion collection, and one of them is 20 minutes away from me.
Oh, so are you going to go?
The only one in Michigan is going to be the Criterion that is a full set of everything that they have. So once
awesome.
It starts, I think, later this year. So the next 50% off sale will be like the one that I go hard. There's one in DC, I think, once you finally make your way there.
Okay, maybe I will, because there's like a couple I'm eyeing. I'm eyeing the Grand Budapest Hotel, and then I've wanted to watch Blue Velvet, so I don't want to buy it without watching it first, just because I just want to make, like, I'm sure it's a great movie, but I want to make sure that like I really like it before I get it, you know?
Yeah, that's what's hard sometimes. Like sometimes I buy Criterions that I've seen, but then it's like I feel like that's kind of against what the collection is supposed to be.
Okay.
So it's like I get
where you like watch it and you just kind of you're hoping,
like sometimes
you're
I feel as though
anyway.
I should just only do blind buys when it comes to Criterion.
Yeah.
But
I'd like to do some more of those just on the pod in general, some blind movies that kind of like none of us have seen. Maybe I feel like that'd be fun just to kind of try new stuff, because I've looked at even my most watched. It is so easy to just like watch the same stuff, because I don't know, this past week, 4 out of the 5 things I've watched are rewatches, you know?
Oh yeah.
So, and the new thing I watched this week was Jurassic World Rebirth. So whether you want to call that me branching out or not, go for it.
Yeah, no, exactly. I know that's the thing I gotta get better at as well, is just watching more things. Whoa, ESPN is going crazy right now. But yeah, I'm gonna try to get just better at that. I think too, I really just gotta go blind when it comes to Criterion, because Criterion, you gotta trust it, right? You gotta trust the system.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, let's get into some news. So this week, no real like actual news, so really just trailers to talk about. So we'll start with the first trailer, which is She Rides Shotgun. This is Taron Egerton's first theatrical release in like 4 years, which is insane to me. So an ex-convict has to protect his 11-year-old daughter at all costs. Looks like a pretty decent action movie that I feel like we've seen before. Did you get that vibe?
Yeah, it's just like very like of the genre.
Yeah,
not really taking many risks, but you know, maybe if they show me another trailer and I feel like there's something different about it, I might give it a shot. But nothing really right now. It's like, I will say Taron Egerton looks yoked to the max.
Dude, he looks so jacked.
He looks like what, James McAvoy?
Yeah, he actually did. He did remind me of
like,
McAvoy.
That's who I'm thinking of in like Split.
Yes, he did look very similar.
Yeah,
very similar.
Insanely fit. That's exactly what it reminded me of. But
yeah,
really nothing pulling any strings for me.
No, this is a prime example of a movie. Is why I'm glad I have A-list, because it's like, if you were like, hey, $12 to go see this, it's like, like it looks good, but not enough for that. But since I have A-list, it's like, yeah, why would I not check this out at least?
Yeah, no, 100%. And I that's what I miss. It's just like, I don't really use my AMC back home, so it's like, when those movies do come out where you're like, it's kind of 50-50, just being able to say, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to go see it. I got time. Might as well try something new.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel like some of the best movies I watched last summer, like that's kind of where I gave them a chance. Not to say that this movie's going to be like a DD or a Sing Sing, but, you know, AMC just kind of gives you that opportunity. So
yeah, for sure. Next up is Eyes of Wakanda, the animated series. We got our first look at it. It looks pretty cool. It's kind of like a throughout time series, so it's like different eras of Wakanda. Looks pretty cool. I don't know if I'm in love with the animation style, but
yeah,
looks.
I think it's something I gotta see a little bit more of.
Yes, agreed. So the big news obviously this week was their finishing of Ironheart. I did not get a chance to finish it this week, so next week I'll report back on Ironheart. But spoilers, folks, Mephisto in the MCU.
I love that it's Sacha Baron Cohen. Like,
yeah,
I love that it's sorry.
If you've been on Twitter at all this last week, you've seen it.
I've just been on TikTok and just seeing the videos themselves have just been so funny. The fact that this joke started 4 or 5 years ago and everyone was just like, oh my gosh, is he going to show up? And then he does show up. And it's like, unfortunately, I just don't know many people that have watched the show.
Yeah.
Which I've heard honestly isn't.
I mean, like I said, yeah, it was just perfectly fine. Like, it's just, I think that they had such little confidence in it, which is very interesting that they just, I mean, 2 weeks to go 3 episodes is wild. But hey, you do you, I guess. But yeah, that's the first look at that. And the next one was The Cat in the Hat animated movie. So I'm calling this Cat in the Hat Into the Seussiverse. Because this was quite literally just like, hey guys, remember Spider-Verse? What if we did it with Cat in the Hat? That's the vibe I got.
Yeah.
So
the animation was also very interesting here.
Yeah.
I kind of in the beginning I was like buying into it, and then like the more I saw it, the more I was like, it's a choice.
I couldn't piece together why I didn't like it, but I feel very similar.
Yeah, and the Cat in the Hat stuff, like I think that's also very much like we have the live action one. I feel like that's very iconic in terms of just childhood movies. I feel like that one, there's just something about it that kind of sticks, or at least stuck with me. And it was just very goofy and like zany.
Yes.
And I don't know. I think it'd be cool to kind of bring this back for like another generation and give them.
I mean, I loved Horton Hears the Who. Horton Hears the Who is one of the voted kids movies ever.
Yeah, I remember watching that in theaters, and even like the the Lorax.
Yeah, I love the Lorax.
So if they can kind of recreate that magic and bring that to the screen, I'm not really expecting it to be anything more than, you know, a nice little kids movie, but if they can manage to, you know, pull something off here, like
when you were young, did you ever watch The Wubulous World of Dr. Seuss?
No.
Do you know what this is?
Let me look it up.
This was like a puppet Dr. Seuss show where like they did the characters of Dr. Seuss in like puppets, basically.
The Muppets, like the Muppets.
Yeah. And it was, this is like a weird, like I used to have a VHS of this for like a couple episodes, and I used to like watch it all the time. I just remember like I really liked the Cat in the Hat in that show. So just a little The Wubulous World of Dr. Seuss, yeah.
Whip the puppets out, and he'll show up.
You know what really I'm waiting for, and I don't know if it'll ever happen again. The Fairly Odd Parents episode Channel Chasers, where they go through different art styles, and like you remember that episode? Am I really just feeling old right now?
No. I watched Fairly Odd Parents. I just can't remember that for the life of me.
It was like an hour-long special where they go into the TV and they had the two magic like remotes, the TV remotes.
No, I don't remember that episode.
Okay. Well, that episode is really cool because they like do different art styles, like parodies of different.
Okay.
I want a movie like that. Like, I feel like this is a great movie to do it in. Like, the Spider-Verse movies kind of do it, but like they don't. Like, not everybody changes when they go into different. Like, only the characters stay themselves throughout different universes. Like, I want all the art styles to change. So, I don't know. One day.
No, I mean that.
One day I'll get it.
Animation. Look, animation is at an awesome point right now, and if they can find a way to just like make this somewhat interesting, I think I'll go see it.
Yeah.
I mean, it can't be any worse than, you know, Harold and the Purple Crayon, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oof, yeah. Next up is The Running Man. Yes. Glenn Powell, Edgar Wright, The Running Man. This is obviously a pseudo remake of the Arnold movie from the 90s, I believe. It is so in the future there is a TV show where you can compete to survive for 30 days while being hunted down by professional assassins. Glenn Powell, Coleman Domingo, Michael Cera, Katie O'Brien. Sign me up, man. This looks so good.
Yeah. It just looks like just like fun, and I think that's like what I feel like very casual moviegoers have felt has been missing from movie theaters for a while, is that, you know, people like us on the podcast or just like in the film community in general say that there are good movies, and maybe they're a little bit more, I don't know, like art films, and some people think that there's not as many, of those like big fun blockbusters in theaters anymore. And this just kind of has that feel to it, that it's got Glenn Powell, it's got Josh Brolin, it's got Coleman Domingo, it's got Michael Cera. I feel like it's got the big names, and it's got that trailer was just so much fun. It made me want to go to the theaters and see it like right now.
I completely agree.
That infectious feeling to go to the theaters and go and see something. And I kind of got that from this trailer.
I could not agree more. And I think too, what's awesome is like Glenn Powell has kind of found a weird like niche, like where it's like, hey, I'm doing like a remake, but it's not really a remake. It's also not a sequel. In the last 2 big movies he's been in, which I think is a great way to like introduce a movie star nowadays, because we're such in like a sequel and legacy sequel driven society that like by doing this, where you just have the name but none of the actual sequelisms, I think works well from like a marketing perspective that I think is really awesome. And then besides this, so this year he has this. Huntington is also this year apparently, which is in post-production as well. That is supposed to come this fall with Topher Grace, Margaret Qualley, and Glenn Powell. And then his next big one is the Glenn Powell, Judd Apatow Universal project, along with, I believe there's one where it's something with him and I want to say J.J. Abrams. I don't know what that one is.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, here it is. It's called Ghostwriter. It's him, Jenna Ortega, Samuel L. Jackson, and J.J. Abrams, and Emma Mackey. That's in production right now. So yeah,
that sounds interesting.
Yeah, I'm fully on the Glenn Powell bandwagon.
From the trailer, did it look very much like a very one-to-one?
No, very different.
Just very like took a lot of the same concepts.
So I really like also in the trailer I did do the Leo pointing meme when his wife came on screen, and I was like, that's the mayor of Gotham.
You mean the
Bella
Real? Very
cool, yeah.
The very cool lady from Sinners as well.
Oh yeah, she is.
Yeah.
My brain is so broken with Superman.
No, it's so cool to see her from like. It's so cool to just kind of see like just see her in more stuff though. So I'm right there with you.
But yeah, I mean, I think that. So like I've seen the original Running Man. The original Running Man is kind of more along the lines of like it's a true game show where you're kind of in like an arena. Where this is you're going across the world and you can kind of like run wherever you want to run. And also it was much more like Mad Maxy in a way, where like people dressed like they had like costumes and it was like, here comes the Crusher, and it's like a dude who's like a crusher, and like and then Arnold had to go up against that guy. Where I don't know if we're getting that vibe here. Obviously we haven't seen the movie, but
it felt very John Wick.
Yeah.
Like
it felt very John Wick, Novocaine-esque.
Okay. Still haven't seen Novocaine.
I think it's on streaming now.
Yeah, that probably is an easy watch.
It's on Paramount Plus, so.
All right.
At least it's not on Mubi. Sorry, Mubi.
Mubi.
One day they'll sponsor us, and then we'll feel real bad about all the things we say. But yeah, nothing can be worse than Love Hurts, so we'll be good there.
Exactly.
The next big trailer, and this one broke my brain a little bit because of the release date, but Phil Lord, Chris Miller, Ryan Gosling, Project Hail Mary. Astronaut Ryland Grace wakes up in a space station with no recollection of who he is or what his mission is. As his memory slowly returns, he learns that he was sent to a new solar system to reverse the impact of a space event that has already hurled Earth into the early stages of an ice age. And he meets an alien. This looks awesome. I'm so in on this to like such a high degree. Man, it looks
really
good. Yes.
I'm not that high on it right now.
No, do tell.
Like I'm excited. Like obviously Ryan Gosling, I feel like in any movie that'll make me excited. But I think alone, I'm not fully just convinced. I feel like we've seen a lot of space movies, a lot of kind of alien-esque, kind of like human meet alien movies. I don't know. And obviously aside from Ryan Gosling being in it, I want something to kind of grab at me and really like pull at me and be like, you gotta see this movie. I will say from what I've heard and what everyone has told, like I was texting one of my buddies this week, and he was like, "Yeah, the book is like so good." So if the book is really good, and I feel like if they can faithfully adapt the book, then I'm sure it will be good. But I think I might need a little bit more than what I've seen right now.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay.
I will say I think that I was more in on it from just like his outfits alone. He's just fitting. The sweaters are just ridiculous.
New personality unlocked.
Yeah, early. And then also when it just said 3/2026, I was like, dang, that's a long time. But also it's really not.
Yeah, dates are just coming up right now, and it just feels way too close.
Yeah. I mean, March 20. Also, I trust Phil Lord and Chris Miller. I really do. They haven't let me down quite yet. We'll see.
I mean, maybe. Do I read the book? How long is the book? Like, is it like a short?
I think it's not very long. But let me try to sell you on it some more. All right. So Phil Lord, Chris Miller, 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street, the Lego Movie.
Yeah.
They got all the credit in the world. So then they go into producing. They produce for you Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Mitchell vs. Machines, all the Lego Batman movie, all these other movies that are like really quite good. But now they're back in the directing chair for the first time in 11 years. And it's to do this. So they believe in it so much. They're like, we're back, baby.
You may have done a little bit of work there.
I know. I'm going to get you there. By the time March rolls around, you're going to be a merryhead.
Dude, we just need good movies coming out earlier in the year. And
yeah,
I'd love
March
for
feels
this
safe.
to be one of those.
March feels safe.
Agreed. If it's in January, I would be devastated. But March feels like there's potential. So I'm going to remain neutral, leaning, optimistic. Would go see.
May
it.
I remind you of a different sci-fi movie that released in March? Mickey
Dune
17.
Part 2. Oh.
Also,
Dune Part 2 was April. Was it?
Yeah, it was April. It was April.
I'm an idiot. Mickey 17.
Yeah. So I think this will be better than Mickey 17, at least to me.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. All right. The next one, the big one, the moment everyone's been waiting for, the Odyssey. Folks, we hear your applause in your cars. We know. It's time to talk the Odyssey. I saw this trailer first on Twitter. Actually, sorry, X.com, the everything app. And it was like in 240p, and I still felt the magic. And then I'm sitting down for Jurassic World Rebirth. The lights go down. They play the AMC, ad, and I haven't seen it yet. And I'm like, it's not going to happen. We're not going to see the Odyssey trailer somehow. And there she was in her full glory.
Yeah.
God, this looks
awesome. I feel like it's connected to the movie.
I think it is.
I went to like the community theater at Caitlin's hometown. It's like one of the local universities like runs it. And I was like, dang, they normally don't run like real trailers, you know?
Yeah.
And I was a little nervous. I was like, crap, I might not be able to see it in theaters. But as soon as the syncope or like basically like Nolan's production company.
Yes.
I'm like completely blanking on how to say it, but
it's like Cinecopy.
As soon as that like popped on, I grabbed Caitlin and I was like, oh my gosh, they're about to play it. They're about to play it. It was awesome. And it's a full minute, and I think no one can build up as much hype for a 1 minute teaser trailer than Nolan right now. I think he's just in the minds of just even the casual audience. I think he is just like a filmmaker that people will go to the movies and see.
Yes.
I mean, heck, Oppenheimer, a biopic on the man who made the atomic bomb, made what? It was short of $1 billion.
Yeah.
Barely. I mean,
yeah.
I don't think any
and R-rated for that matter.
Exactly. So I'm just beyond excited for this movie. And I know you texted it, but Tom Holland looks great.
Yes. I'm like, he's got it. Like, this is like for all of us Holland heads out there, this is us finally having our moment. of like, I told you he could act. I told you.
And I love that it's so simple. It's really just a conversation. Like there's not like, it's not like a crazy montage and a bunch of shots of what's taking place in this movie. It truly is just the title. And I also love Christopher Nolan's title for all of his movies. It's the same font. Like
it's the same font. It's just the Nolan font.
I know. It's like it's the most, it's like a Papyrus. Have you seen the Papyrus skit on SNL?
Yes.
It's
with the Goss guy.
That's it. If you haven't, for anyone listening, if you haven't watched the Papyrus SNL video with Ryan Gosling, it is an all time. It's so funny, but that's what I feel like all of Nolan's movies are. It's just like the same font, and everyone still just like freaks out. John Bernthal doing what John Bernthal does.
He's so good.
I don't know if I need to say anything else. It's a minute long. I don't want to overreact about it either. I feel like I've already done that.
Yeah, like that's the thing too. It's like I feel like we're glazing it, but like
we are.
There's like respectfully, yes, very much so. There's like a feeling that you get every once in a while, and I feel it very rarely. I felt it with the teaser trailer for Superman. I felt it when the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer came out, and it's just like almost a relief of like the thing that you thought was going to be what it is what it is. That was confusing to say, but I still stand by what
No, I agree.
And that's what I feel about this. Like I vividly remember where I was in the first time I saw the Oppenheimer 1 year out teaser, because Nolan does this now. He does the 1 year out teaser. And I was at a early screening of Nope. And and I had no idea the teaser was coming. I was less like involved in like the online of it all, and just sitting there and like hearing like the ticking, and then like watching the clock go down as like the Oppenheimer is just incredible. And I feel like this is another one of those. And man, it rocks. It rocks so much. Cannot wait.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're not glazing it too much.
I don't want to continue
to casual about it. We're gonna be casual about it. But like,
we don't even get a Robert Pattinson shot in this one.
No.
And it's just, there's so much good stuff in this, and
good stuff.
I have a really hard time believing that this isn't going to be I mean, if this were to be a bad movie, it would be one of my biggest disappointments in terms of movies. Like,
this is the one we're going to New York to go see with each other. We're all gonna New York or LA. We're gonna go to one of those two.
Yep.
All of us together.
I have to.
Man, it looks so good. All right, let's get into the movie it was attached to. Jurassic World Rebirth. A big 180. No. All right, Jurassic World Rebirth. 5 years post Jurassic World Dominion, an expedition braves isolated equatorial regions to extract DNA from 3 massive prehistoric creatures for groundbreaking medical breakthrough. Starring Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, Jonathan Bailey, Rupert Friend, and a family. Which we'll probably talk about.
A family.
Directed by Gareth Edwards, who most recently brought us The Creator and also Rogue One, Godzilla, many other things. Let's do no spoiler first, and then we'll jump into spoilers, because there is some spoiler stuff I'd like to cover. So, right off the bat, Jack, what is your relationship with the Jurassic franchise?
Yeah. So I'm very much a casual when it comes to the Jurassic World, just movies in general. Jurassic Park, just an all-time classic, one I grew up on, have a lot of respect for. Haven't watched in just so long, but still, just I hold it in the highest regard. I mean, Steven Spielberg, like you said earlier, just very much just crafted something truly special, and that's why we've gotten so many of these movies and why they've remained so popular. But I've also watched Jurassic World, the one with Chris Pratt, which is the first one. But I've never really like been so into them that I'm like, yes, I need to watch more of these.
Fair enough.
That's my relationship. I'm assuming your relationship, you've seen every single Jurassic World movie.
I've been a Jurassic guy.
Okay.
I really like the Jurassic franchise. I've waned on it as years have gone on. To the Jurassic trilogy, so the OG trilogy was one of the first like DVDs I ever had in the back of the car. So like, I watched a lot of those, especially Jurassic World 3. I watched like like 30 times probably in my life.
Really?
Just because it was like the DVD in the back of the car. It was that Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and I think Mission Impossible 3, if I recall correctly. I had some bangers in the backseat of the car when I was like 11.
Dude, I was watching the B movie.
No, dude. I had cinema back there. So no, big Jurassic. And then when World came out, I was like, it was like right in the Chris Pratt era too. And it was like, this is just awesome. I was like, this is the new movie star in the making. And then the next two were just real mid, to say the least.
Yeah.
But I was excited for this one. I was like, this is a good.
I was too.
Dinosaurs are cool, man. Like, it's just like I want to see dinosaurs, and this one does dinosaurs okay. I think the biggest issue here for me is they were too afraid to break the conventions of this franchise, and I think it hurts it in a big way.
Okay.
Not enough to like be a negative on the movie, which is this is where it's interesting. To me, this is. I mean, let me read you my review for it. All right. So right at the bat, I gave it 3 stars. I'm going to give this a 65 out of 100. No, without getting spoilers. My review is the grilled cheese and tomato soup of this franchise. Perfectly serviceable comfort food. That's what this is. It never pushes the boundary, but it never does anything poorly. It's well made. It's well shot. I think it looks honestly pretty beautiful in a lot of moments.
Yeah.
Especially the lighting, which I think in blockbusters today has been a struggle, to say the least, when it comes to like the MCU and a lot of other things. It's very digital. We're like, this looks good. I love it's all on like practical locations, which is awesome. I think the dynamics between the characters works, but it's just like so inoffensively, like it's just so afraid to change what has been a Jurassic World movie for the last decade and a half.
Sure.
That I think it's just like so safe. Where I think you could have gone a very cool direction. But the biggest issue for me is the family. I think they I think they bring it down because it's like I've seen this so many times before that I'm just not interested this 4th time that you have a family involved.
Okay. See, I as someone who's very distant from this whole franchise, I think there's just like parts of this movie that are just genuinely. I think the first 30 minutes of this movie, I don't think that's a spoiler at all. Is genuinely some of the worst 30 minutes I've watched this entire year.
when there were dinosaurs in the real world, were you like, what is going on?
Yeah. Well, like not even that. That's not even the thing I have a problem with, but there's just some of the characters in here I could care less about. I don't think this is a spoiler, but I like Jonathan Bailey here. I like Mahershala Ali here. I think that they are great additions into what Jonathan this franchise can be.
Before our eyes.
He's awesome. Here, and I say this in the nicest way possible, this might be one of the worst Scarlett Johansson movies I've seen, and I could not stand her in this movie.
Wow, really?
I just like there's parts of it where like I love Scarlett Johansson. I think that she's a phenomenal actress. I just think that there's parts of this movie where like I just feel like she's very much miscast. Yeah. And I think that the way that her character is written throughout this story, I feel like you said, it's very much comfort, but like I really never feel like, as opposed to like, I'll get into spoilers later, but I feel like some of the character choices that could be very simple and could serve the story and send it into a very positive direction that you almost, as you watch, feel like could have been very easy for them to do. They don't do.
Yes.
And I think we'll get to there in spoilers. But the first 30 minutes, I was laughing. I was just knocking Caitlin the entire time, just like, what are they doing here? But once they get into the thick of it, like you said, I think I had a fun time with this, and I think it very much does play it safe. But I walked out of the theater and I had a good time. But yeah, I give this movie about a 57 out of 100.
Fair.
I think that I liked it for what it was. I don't think it's like something I'm really going to find myself revisiting.
No, when I left, I was like, if this was on TNT on like a random weeknight and I was like making dinner, would I leave it on? And I was like, yeah, I'd leave it on.
Possibly.
Yeah, like if nothing else is on, it's like, yeah, I'd watch the boat scene again.
Sure.
I'd watch the pterodactyl scene again.
Yeah. There's some sweet scenes in here. There's just decisions that are made in here that just, I'm not going to say infuriate me, but they're just like
interesting. Okay, now I'm actually very excited for spoilers to see why you're so.
Yeah.
I'm as a non-Jurassic guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the biggest thing that this has going for it is, I think it captures the awe. And I think that was one of the bigger things that was missing from the Chris Pratt movies, is Chris Pratt putting his hand out and controlling the dinosaurs was always just like, this is kind of silly, but it worked for the first one. But then by the time you did 3 of those, by the third one, it's like, guys, what are we doing? He's doing his magical hand trick. Where like this, at least the dinosaurs felt dangerous. And I thought that was good to see, because it's been a minute since they all felt dangerous.
I agree. And
so
when
I liked that.
When you see one, it just feels like there's just this moment. I think by no means is it they stop in the car, they stand up, and they look out on the horizon.
And watching that last night and then watching this today showed such a difference. I mean, like, these dinosaurs look so much real. Like, they just look real.
Yeah.
And like it doesn't make them feel real in the same way. And especially the scene where they do we're looking in awe scene. They just copy again. Like, it never captured it in the same way that they just do in the first one.
Yeah, and maybe it's just the continued milking the cow until it's got nothing left. Maybe the first time you just can't beat that feeling that you get from when you've watched the first movie, because I think they do give a very like admirable go at that feeling in this movie. In that moment and it's very obvious when that moment is, but I applaud them for trying to recapture that. But like you said, dinosaurs look super real, but there's just really like, sometimes you just can't match, what was made the first time.
Agreed. All right. So overall, we say it's pretty but it
like 3 stars.
Yeah, 3. That's why I gave it 3 stars. So 57 for Jack, 65 for me. All right, let's get into spoilers, because I want to talk about the story here, because I have an opinion, and I would like to hear your opinion first, though, to see if we have the same opinion.
All right, so I think I'm heading towards the back end of this movie, or just in general. I like the family was fine to me as someone who is distant from this movie. I thought what they did with them was like, to me, gave me kind of a reason to care, as opposed to, I feel like half of the explorers that we were given, because you could look at this group and say at the beginning of the movie, this person's going to die. Not making it. Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Yes.
And I think, like, especially for a movie like this, I'd love to watch it and be like, oh man, they killed off somebody like I didn't expect. Even for that slightest moment where you think that Jonathan Bailey's character is going to die, I was like, holy cow, I can't believe they did that.
Yeah, they killed Ajax from Rebel Moon, or from Deadpool.
Then he just happens to like perfectly land on like the treetop, land on the ground, and then everyone else is like, oh, that's exactly where he is. Let's go get him. And they like all run down.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's just several moments in this movie where they do something super awesome. For example, that sequence where the pterodactyl is like coming in for the egg. Awesome. Literally kills the dude on their team, like throws him in the air and just swallows him basically whole. Crazy sequence. And then by basically threatening to like kill Jonathan Bailey's character and then still keep him alive, just, I think that just the tone they're trying to send with this movie was just thrown off for me. And I think it continued to do that even in the end, when Mahershala Ali's character has this point in the story where, as someone who had, he lost his child, right? And him and his wife separated because they lost his child. There is a point in this movie where I'm like, you know what? I resonate with this kid. Like, or resonate's the wrong word, but like I feel for this character.
Yeah.
I empathize for this character, and you can see why they're making this choice. And it happens. And it's kind of like this, man, he did it to like sacrifice himself so that everyone else could get away. And then he's still alive.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
yeah.
What? Like, again, like I thought that sequence was like, and for me, I didn't feel like it was that shocking. Like when he started to do what he did, I was like, you know what, this makes a lot of sense for his character, for his story, for him to sacrifice himself so that another parent doesn't have to live in that kind of pain, you know, to live in a world where potentially their kids are no longer with them, something like that, you know, or just to sacrifice himself so that that family can live a quote unquote like normal lifestyle. And then they somehow bring him back. And I was just, what? Because if they could, like, I'm assuming they have big plans for him to continue on in this. Is this going to be another trilogy? Like,
so that's where I have a very similar issue to you. So I have two issues with this movie. One, I said the family. Well, actually, I have three. One, I said the family just because it's just been so redundant. I think they are a good addition to this movie, but I would have been less if you were like, hey, you have this movie with the family again, or you could just take that screen time and flesh out the three main characters a little more and be like, I'd rather do that just because I've seen the family thing over and over and over again. My other big issue with this is the D-Rex, like the genetically engineered that starts the movie and then finishes the movie. I think it would have been a much more interesting story, and maybe not, is if the grimy businessman was making up a lie about this, that needing the DNA samples from the three biggest dinosaurs he could find. And it was really that he needed the DNA sample from that thing. And I think that would have been a little bit more of a bow on all of this than just, it's just out there kind of thing. Because I feel like it was so unnecessary when you could have just had a bigger dinosaur than a T-Rex. Like there's other things that are not T-Rexes that you could have had as a big bad. Because you set up an interesting dinosaur. Well, dinosaur in quotes. That it just feels very wasted to me. And like just so unnecessary. And also felt like we did it before because like the Indominus Rex in Jurassic World is like a genetically modified dinosaur that's better and bigger and stronger. And it's like, we did this before, guys. Like we're doing it again. So I'm with you there. I think what would be more interesting that I don't think they'll ever do because of the way that this is, but if they just did a Jurassic World movie where they got A-listers and they were like, guys, we're not doing a sequel. No matter what, we're not doing a sequel.
Kill everyone.
Yes, and you don't know who the next one is. Like, imagine if this movie was marketed the way it was, and then when they get to the island, Scarlett Johansson dies immediately.
Yes.
Like the stakes would be so much higher. And like if you took out the family and had, I don't know, two other A-list people in this movie, or even like B-list people in this movie, like where you're like people I know and like, that would have been a little more interesting, where you could jump between them and like who was the actual main character of the story as we go along, and treat Jurassic Park like a slasher, where like the final girl, quote unquote, changes as the movie goes on because you don't know who the final person is going to be. I think that'd be so much better. And obviously it's not what this movie is, but I think it tries to be that, and that's where I think it fumbles.
Well, just because they kill all these people off, but you're just like,
yes, but you're
I
like,
wasn't
my main
expecting to
three
see
are
them
here
anyway.
Yeah. So it never feels like the stakes are high. Where I
like
think,
you said, they killed Ajax off, and I was like, oh,
yes.
Well, that guy sucked anyway. So like, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, which is so interesting too, because in Jurassic Park, you know that they're gonna get through it, but like you feel the stakes there, unlike here, which I don't know why there's a difference. Even watching this on a first time and watching Jurassic Park on like the 8th time, right? Like you still feel like, oh my god, they might not make it. Where here it's just like, I know they'll be fine. I know they're gonna get through this. And that's just, I don't know why that is, but it just is. So yeah, I really wish that there was a version of a movie, of a Jurassic movie, where it's just like, we don't know who's gonna make it through here.
I think that stands for all movies. I think like whether it's a movie where like the bad guy wins or just everyone dies. I mean, there's just some feeling of shock and just like pure, I don't know, it's like adrenaline of just not knowing what's going to happen next, because there's something that's, I mean, I'm not saying that that's like a good story to like feed to people and say like, oh yeah, like, yay, this is how things should be. But like, I think it makes for a good story. And holy
Agreed.
cow, for example, like Psycho. I mean, holy cow, you start off the movie and you think that you're gonna be hanging out with the main character the rest of the movie. Spoiler alert, she gets killed off in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, another spoiler, I hope you've seen The Departed.
Yeah.
It's about The Departed. I mean, genuinely, the movie is just, I think those movies, even why I like The Dark Knight so much, the villain wins. I mean, the villain wins, but like, and it takes the hero to sacrifice something to gain back that momentum. Like, I think that's why when we're given a story that is so against what we're so used to seeing in Hollywood and movies these days, I think that's what makes them special. So,
well, I
would be
agree.
so in on that,
and
movie.
That's why I think too, like the first Scream works really well, is because the first Scream was marketed as a Drew Barrymore movie, and it was like Drew Barrymore, and then 6 minutes in, she's the first death, and it's like anyone is now what are we supposed to do? Like, this is that I think is such a lost art that we just haven't gotten in a long time. And I think Jurassic is the perfect example to do, and like the perfect pilot to do it with, is because I mean, they could do a Jurassic movie starring the three of us, and like it's gonna make $1 billion. Like, it's Jurassic, it's bulletproof. And so like I think that is a great example of like, let's get weird and wacky with it and make it scary. And I think that this tried to, but never sold it because it was afraid to do the main thing, which was let someone actually die who mattered.
Yeah.
Like, as awful as it would have been if they killed off that dad or even the boyfriend or the sister, like that at least would have been like an, oh my God moment. And we never got that.
Yeah. And as an actor, I'm sure there's like massive projects you want to work on, but if Jurassic Park comes to you and says, hey, I'm going to give you a couple $1 million to show up for a couple weeks.
Why don't you come with me to Singapore for 4 weeks, hang out in the jungle, and like hang out at like a 5-star resort, and then
you're out of here
and you go home.
Yeah. Like, I feel like as a producer, that might be the easiest or recruiting job you would have to do to get some of the biggest stars in Hollywood.
Yeah.
I mean, just pull a White Lotus, get a bunch of like, I mean, obviously a little bit bigger stars than White Lotus, but just like get some big stars and let's get freaky with it, like
let's get weird and wacky.
Let's send I don't know, Ben Affleck or, Leonardo DiCaprio out in the first 5 minutes. I like that.
Yeah.
Let's get crazy.
Yeah.
But
treat it like a slasher.
Yeah. And the family, I think I was expecting for Xavier to die the entire movie.
I was waiting for it. I was like, he's going to have a redemption and be gone.
I thought it was, well, not only that, I was like, in the beginning, I was expecting him to die. But as the movie went along, I'm like, all right, they're definitely just going to give him an arc here. And oh my gosh, at the end of the movie, I would like, this would have been the like cringe / like cliche ending of all time when the dad's driving the boat to be like, Xavier, why don't you drive the boat?
Yeah.
And he like comes on and like drives the boat at the end. And you know what? If that was the ending, I would have laughed and I would have left the movie and I would be like, that's really funny, but it's a terrible ending.
But it's a terrible ending, yeah.
In the Snickers, like the beginning,
Snickers is the death of us all.
And the beginning was sweet. I thought that the introduction of this D-Rex was cool. I liked it. It was scary.
Yeah, and then it was gone for awesome. 2 hours.
But then not only that, it's like it just throws you off that the thing that caused all this was a Snickers bar. Like you're telling me that a scientist just couldn't put the wrapper down. Like, I don't know, maybe it's a small thing to pick at. And obviously it's clearly one of the biggest product placements of recent history. But like, really? A Snickers bar? You couldn't have him carrying a bunch of files or something and him just accidentally drop one, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least that would be like almost believable to me, like.
Yeah.
The Snickers bar just makes it be like, oh, come on, dude.
But that's the thing. So it's so interesting. I feel like when you and I are on the podcast by ourselves, we watch movies that are just so average that we sound like we're so negative on. But then at the end of the day, we're like, it was fine. Like,
I had a good time.
Yeah, it just could be so much more, and the fact it's not is frustrating. But yeah. All right. Anything else on Jurassic?
Probably I just need to talk about Scarlett Johansson's character, just so I don't sound like I just hate her in general.
I thought she was just fine here. Like I thought she was a little charming enough to be a lead, but like it never got in the way of like the other people I thought was a little more interesting.
Because I just feel like you kind of get some backstory to her, but like not enough. I feel like that there's any parts of them like, sure, she's like, oh yeah, you know what? Let's give the cure to everyone, and I'm just kind of like, I don't really feel like that has anything to do with your like. Sure, she like only cares about money, yay. But I was just kind of like, okay, as for Jonathan Bailey's character, dude just loves dinosaurs. And even when he's in like the scariest situations, he's like, oh my gosh, dude, I know that one. I know that guy.
Yeah.
Like, that's so cool. He's like, oh my gosh, like, that's so sick. Like, that I like that because I feel like there definitely is somebody out there that would be so obsessed with dinosaurs and could be in a life or death situation and would still be like, I can't believe I'm seeing this in real life.
Yeah, like it works.
And still I'm still on a Jonathan Bailey high after Wicked.
Yeah, the trailer for Wicked 2 was before this, and I was like, that was pretty sweet. I was like, it looked pretty good.
I haven't seen it in theaters, the trailer in theaters yet, so I'm hoping to see it soon. But and then Mahershala Ali's character, I just feel like out of the top three, I feel like she definitely had the weakest like backstory / character arc in the movie. Yeah. I really liked the little dinosaur though. It was like a nice little touch. I liked it. I know some people didn't like it because they're like, oh, it's just gonna sell toys. But it was like bro's like the Groot of like Jurassic World.
Yeah. All right, let's get into our draft here. 4th of July draft. So take that as you will. What does that mean to you? You tell me. So I will Google coin flipper, and I'll let you call it in air.
Okay.
Let's see here, and I'll wear my glasses that reflect onto the screen so you can know I'm not cheating. Coin flip.
You have your Jonathan Bailey glasses on.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Hang on. All right, ready? Can you see that? Is that helpful at all? This is really bad.
Tell me when to click.
All right. Here we go. I'm gonna click in 3, 2, 1. Clicked.
Heads.
Tails.
Okay.
All right. Do I want to go first or do I want to go second? I want to go first.
Okay.
I want to go first. And I'm going to take my 1-1, which, as I alluded to, is also Charles's 1-1. And that is The Sandlot.
Okay.
1-1 of 4th of July movies. The scene where they are playing baseball in the sand. Not in the sand. In, like, under the... Well, they do play in the sand. They play in the sandlot. Under the lights of the fireworks, talking about the 4th of July. Might be one of the greatest, like, hey, what is America on film? That is it. Like the whole summer, they go to the amusement park and they all, get like kind of high and throw up. Like, man, The Sandlot is like the perfect Americana movie, and I think it's so good. So Sandlot 1-1 for me.
Okay, and you're gonna hate me for saying this, but I saw The Sandlot once when I was younger, and I just like that's just not something I revisit. Like. Man, I'm just not a big. I know, like You're Killing Me, Smalls. Like I know it's a big cultural movie, but that was like one when I was trying to like find movies and like look up some that are obviously like big 4th of July movies. That was one that like kept popping up, and I was just like, I don't even think that's on my list. Like,
so man, maybe I wish I really saved it. Because there's a couple in here that I'm worried I'm gonna lose, but we'll go next.
So I go back to back.
Yeah, you can go back to back.
Okay, this might be a stretch.
Oh.
I don't know. I mean, I guess you can say this is America, like rah rah.
Okay.
However you want to spin it.
All right.
But Top Gun Maverick, I feel like it's very like.
No, this counts. This is a big. It counts.
Okay. Good. I just want to make sure like I wasn't the only one that was like, okay, this is like
on my list.
Get it.
On my list.
One of the biggest, American, I guess, war propaganda. But
If you watch Top Gun Maverick and you're not thinking to yourself, man, we need to increase our military budget, you're doing something wrong. That movie makes you want to be like, folks, I think the military budget needs to be increased. Them playing football on the beach is like the most American thing you could ever see.
Yeah. One Republic, some bangers. Lady Gaga finishing it off.
It makes our service members look like the most handsome and beautiful people of all time.
Yes.
Like it's just awesome in the best. Yeah, I'm fully in on this. Like it does make you just be like, America, brick wall, punch through it. Like it is so good.
Yes. And I think it's funny because I think there's a lot of movies on the 4th of July list that we're gonna make that are very much like dad movies.
Yeah, no, yeah. This is big time.
Which is very funny. I also think it's funny that we really haven't like watched Top Gun and kind of like done like a review on it in a by itself. I feel like that would just be a fun episode to we do bring it up a lot. So Top Gun Maverick at my first pick.
1-1.
This next one's tough. It really is. I just got to think about which one I like more.
I hope that I get one of mine back. I'm feeling better now.
And I just got to say, I really do think that this is the only one that, like, when I think of the 4th of July, I think of the American flag, and I think of it wrapped around Rocky Balboa and Rocky IV.
Oh, that's great pick.
That's exactly what I imagine in my mind, like up against Ivan Drago.
Actually, Sneaky Great Christmas movie also.
Yes.
Yeah, Sneaky Great.
One of the greatest montages of all time. I think for me, I haven't rewatched it in quite some time, but like every time it's on TV, I watch it with my dad, and it's just
so good.
It's so good every time.
Rocky IV arguably might be one of the greatest movies of all time. Like objectively, no, but in reality, it's like yeah. It's
Dudes
so
rock.
Good. It's
hell
so
yeah.
Dudes rock.
I'm due for a Rocky. Do we have in this, by the way?
We have 5. We have 5 picks.
5. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I think I'm going to lose a couple of mine here, and that's okay.
Yeah, you left me my 2 and 3 on the board.
I think I know which one.
You left me my 2 and 3. At number 2, I got to go with the one named after the holiday. I got to go Independence Day.
Okay. Yeah, I had that on my list as well.
Like, it's literally named after the 4th of July.
Yeah.
And the speech in the movie that we get from Bill Pullman talking about like how today is our Independence Day is one of the greatest movie speeches of all time. Like, arguably up there with anything that Optimus Prime says at the end of the Transformers movies. Like, it's so good in a way that works so much. Like, oh man, Independence Day is awesome. It is like the quintessential like America's great movie, and I watched it pretty recently, and I think there's a point in it where literally the Americans figure out how to save the day, and the world, they cut to like different parts of the world where they're like, the other militaries are hearing about it, and the British are like, oh, finally, so the Americans figured out, we were waiting on them. And it's just like, yeah, you know what? Hell yeah, the rest of the world is just kind of waiting for us to tell them what to do, and America, baby. Yeah, no, it rocks.
I love that pick.
Yeah, it's so good. Man, Bill Pullman in this is so good. Another one too, where like it is so pro-America in a way that is awesome, because like it's like, we don't what are we gonna do without our fighter pilots? And it's like, let's just ask these random people, and it's like, you know what? They have all the skills necessary. You're right, because we're Americans, and we
just like an Armageddon.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like, we'll do it because we are Americans. It's like, heck yeah. I
completely forget that Jeff Goldblum is in that movie.
Oh yeah, and he's a great character.
Okay, yeah, I need to rewatch that one ASAP, because I think I've watched it like 2 or 3 times, but definitely when I was like in middle school or like early high school. So that's definitely due for a
Jeff
rewatch.
Goldblum. Also, Jeff Goldblum's fits in this movie, just incredible.
Oh yes, it's Independence Day.
Oh, the aliens are coming to Earth. Yes. It's so good. And then my 3 is going to be one that I'm shocked is on the board. Hand up. I thought you'd take it. And that's Jaws. Yeah. Jaws is like the quintessential.
I know.
Summertime. They are doing the 4th of July in the movie. Like, it is so perfectly. We just had the 50th anniversary of it. Like, I think when you think of summer American blockbuster, you think of this. And it's just like, yeah, that's the 4th of July. Jaws is so perfectly 4th of July. It's the quintessential American movie, like easily. So Jaws number 3, no doubt about it.
See, when I was looking at mine to pick, and I was Jaws or Rocky 4, and I was like, you know what? I feel like I got to pick which one I like more.
Fair enough.
I think while Jaws, the cultural significance and just the significance on like film in general is just so massive. I think I'm like, you know what? Rocky 4 is just, it's like that.
It's your list, man. You got to do what's right for you.
But man, so Independence Day and Jaws, those were 2 of my top 5. Rocky and Top Gun were my top 2.
Oh no, he's in a quandary right now.
All right. I don't know. These are just tough because I'm like, I don't know. I just feel like I don't know if this movie's 100%. I feel like it's got to be like Saving Private Ryan. I feel like that.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going. Steven Spielberg is just getting brought up to the max today.
No, Spielberg's sneaky big America like movie guy.
So I'm going Saving Private Ryan with my 3rd pick.
They did in fact save Private Ryan. Spoiler, guys.
I think even though a lot of these are definitely military movies, I think these movies are very much, you watch them and you're like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And it's very much like I don't know, not just like pro America, but kind of just like the people that laid down their lives for, the country that we live in. So I feel like that's kind of like in there as well.
And I think something that I would argue that watching Saving Private Ryan, it's not like a pro-war film. I'd say it's very anti-war, honestly.
Sure.
But I think what's interesting is it's like pro the men who are involved.
Exactly.
Which I think is a very big distinction that I think we forget today when like looking at war movies is like these men fought for their country. And yeah, like maybe we probably shouldn't have, like, if we didn't have a choice, we'd rather not fight all day long. But like they fought and like they battled for each other and they were brothers in those moments. I think that's just like the biggest thing.
No, I agree. I think it's just the American spirit of just persevering in tough moments. Who puts them in those positions, isn't always really their choice, but when they're, called to do their business, they are there for one another. So I cannot agree with you more on that.
And I think a good trope that I think it's a Private Ryan as well. When like dudes in like these movies meet each other and they're like, "Where are you from?" And they just say like random towns in America.
Yeah.
And they're like, "I know a guy from there." And like that's how they like meet each other. I just think that's like such an awesome. It's just always a great moment, I feel.
It's like Bulbasaurus, Louisiana. It's like, whoa, like, dude.
No way. I got a cousin. I got a cousin down in Jacobson. You know him? It's like, yeah. I know that guy. Like that's just like, it's just so great.
Okay. So I'm just gonna say this. Miracle on Ice, I haven't seen it. I've heard great things about it. That's not gonna be my pick. It's not my pick.
Because I would argue not a 4th of July movie.
Well, see, the thing for like 4th of July, when I think of like 4th of July, whether they have a specific time in the movie it happened on 4th of July, or overall it just feels like it's celebrating the American spirit.
Agreed.
I feel like that's kind of like what I'm kind of, when I've curated my list, I'm like thinking what movies are considered 4th of July movies. So, man, I'm really split between 2 right now. And I think, I don't know. I'm just gonna have to go. I love Nick Cage, National Treasure. I feel like I have to take that one, my 4th one.
Yes.
I have to show some love to my guy. So that is my 4th.
So are you an OG or are you a Book of Secrets guy?
I like the original.
Yeah, them stealing Declaration is one of the coolest things ever.
It's big. And there's a way you can watch it in the same building where the Declaration of Independence is currently located in DC. And there's like a movie night where you can go to like, they have like an upstairs building, I want to say. And I would love to go do that sometime in the near future. Because
that would be really fun.
This is also kind of like one of those car movies. And I think it's just so, when you're a kid, you watch and you're like, man, that just rocks,
Yeah.
So I feel like I just had to pick that one. The other one I was looking at, I guess we'll bring out an honorable mention towards the back end. But yeah, National Treasure.
Damn, that one rocks. All right, I'm real torn here between doing my regular ones or doing maybe something from my honorable mentions list. I don't know if I'm gonna pull quite yet.
Okay.
But we'll go to my number 4 right now, and that is Captain America, the OG Captain America. I feel like obviously his name is Captain America, folks. In case you didn't know, his name is Captain America. But like it is such a like rah stars and stripes, especially in the first one where like they do like when he goes on the USO tour and does like the who wears the flag, door to door for America, like that's so good. Like it's like patriotism and like obviously it's a faux version of it because they're on this tour, and like even Captain America kind of makes fun of himself like he's a monkey in a suit, but there is something pure in a sense about like that old school American rah that I think just it works. So I'm gonna put Captain America at 4. 5 is where it gets tough. And I got some choices here, and I'm gonna go a little unconventional. I'm gonna go with one of my favorite movies ever, and that's Red Dawn. Are you familiar with Red Dawn?
I'm assuming this is the original.
Yes, not the Josh Peck version. No, I'm going the OG version, 1984.
Yeah.
To me, Red Dawn is like the perfect 80s film. And it is just so America, where it's just like, you know what? A warring army could come over here, but by God, our teens are even better than your army because they can take you down. The Wolverines, baby. And it's just, it's so awesome. It's great. It's so good. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Red Dawn to round off my list here.
Okay. Well, I think aside from Jaws and Independence, I mean, obviously the early ones, I don't think I had too much.
Not a lot of crossover.
There is one that I'm thinking about my honorable mentions that I'll probably mention later, but the one I watched this week, I didn't think it would be picked, but I didn't want to like plant the seed. And obviously if Charlie was here, it would have been a potentially very different draft.
Yeah.
Because I have about 13 movies on my list, so I probably would have to pull some. I probably could have pulled some extras along, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Sandlot was never really one I considered, so like I figured I would still end up with something. But at number 5, whether this is a movie is up for debate, but it is the recorded version of Hamilton with the original cast on Disney Plus.
All right, yeah.
It is so good. I could sing every single song in this musical, and I think I continue to watch it, and it just like gives me goosebumps.
I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my dude. Well, baby.
I know. But it is cool. And I was talking to Caitlin, like just seeing everyone in this cast and like how they've kind of just like continued to rise after this massive hit is really cool as well. And I'm very upset that I can't talk about Anthony Ramos with Charles here, because he is genuinely like so awesome in this role. Yeah, and it is cool to also see, you know, Ariana DeBose in a role where she literally does like minimal singing, but she still like has like an impact, and you can see her you know, basically kind of as like a background dancer, and she is still like phenomenal. So that was one where I was like, I don't think that's one you guys would have picked, but I didn't want to.
No, fair.
Didn't want to plant the seed. And I love Hamilton. That was one that kind of like re-sparked my like love for like musicals. Again, I've always been like a Wicked kid, a Wizard of Oz kid, and my mom asked me if I wanted to go see Hamilton when I was in like early high school, and thought I would hate it. Ended up loving it, and I've seen it twice in person now, and just decided to rewatch it earlier this week. It's so good, and if you haven't seen it, recommend giving it a watch. So
100%.
Yeah.
All right. So to go over our list one more time, Jack had Top Gun Maverick, Rocky IV, Saving Private Ryan, National Treasure, and Hamilton. I had Sandlot, Independence Day, Jaws, Captain America, and Red Dawn. Those are some great lists, man. Those are some great lists. Some honorable mentions I was thinking about. I had Ford v Ferrari. Some honorable mention. Zero Dark 30 was another one. I remember Glory. That was a classic wheel the old TV card out in school movie. American Sniper.
Yeah, that's a good one. I had The Patriot.
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson with Heath Ledger.
Yes.
That one was just one me and my family kind of just like crazy action movie, and I would have loved to have included that on the list somewhere here, but it was either down to that or National Treasure for me, and I was like, feel like I got to go National Treasure. It's just almost too nostalgic for me.
Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah.
Air Force One. Any of the Rambos after the first Rambo. Oh, big miss by us. Field of Dreams.
See, I haven't seen Field of Dreams.
See, that is like, I mean, he literally builds a baseball field just to watch old dudes.
And people come.
Yeah, he built it, and turns out they came. So that's a good one.
I had Lincoln as well. That's also a Spielberg movie.
Yeah, Spielberg. Honestly, you could even do Spielberg, like if you wanted to do West Side Story.
Yeah.
I would even argue if, like Jurassic Park could even be considered a 4th of July movie, just because it's like American, almost hubris of like, yeah, we can control dinosaurs. Like American capitalism, maybe can control dinosaurs.
That would be that's very, I feel like that's a stretch for me, but I like that.
Indiana Jones, maybe.
Do they have is there a 4th of July scene in there? I feel like there's the
yes,
New Year's with Temple of Doom, right?
No, hang on. In the new Indiana Jones, he does he rides the horse through the parade.
Respectfully, I'm not picking that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the most recent Indiana Jones, please.
That's a stretch. No, that's and then I think my last one was I had Forrest Gump. 4th of July is mentioned, I think.
Oh yeah, he literally goes
twice.
And he goes to Washington like a couple times.
Yeah. So I thought about that, but I thought it was a little bit more of a stretch. Yeah. I love I got shot in my buttocks.
Yeah, my buttocks.
Yeah. And then I had Miracle on Ice. Really one I hadn't seen, but I was afraid maybe I'd choose it if everything else I wanted got taken. But I really had a fun time putting my list together and just kind of thinking on like what I would consider to be 4th of July movies.
Yeah, me too. This was like a weirdly interesting draft because you could go in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, and I was honestly, when I heard 1-1, you and Charlie the same one, I was like, I feel like Top Gun Maverick was immediately where my head was.
So I actually had the OG Top Gun higher on my list than Maverick, just because I feel as though the OG is somehow more like American in a weird way.
No, I get that. It's very just like I feel like in the new one they tried to make it feel a little bit more distant, just so it would be more appealing to more like a larger audience, if that makes sense.
But see, there's literally the part 2 in Maverick where he stands in front of, doesn't he stand in front of the flag and is like introducing them? Am I remembering this wrong?
I think so. In the second one, yeah. I know what you're saying. When he comes in and he walks down and Glenn Powell's like, oh my gosh, that's the guy at the bar.
Yeah. That's the guy at the bar standing in front of like a ginormous American flag and it was like, everything in this book, throw it out. And you're like, yeah, heck yeah, dude. Maverick's going to teach you a thing or two here. But then I also do think of like in Top Gun, like the classic like poster photo of him just like thumbs up in the cockpit with the flag behind him.
Yeah.
That one's so good.
No, I agree.
Also, Tom Cruise is in a movie called Born on the 4th of July. And American Made. But he's literally in a movie called Born on the 4th of July that neither of us picked.
I know. I was kind of expecting. I've never seen it. Okay, cool.
So I don't know if it didn't feel fair to pick it if I haven't seen it. And I also think that movie is about PTSD from Vietnam. So I don't know if it's like I don't think it's very like, hoorah, America.
I mean, there's plenty of American horror stories you could choose from if that's another route we wanted to go
A Few
into.
Good
too.
Men, American Corruption. JFK, American Corruption.
I know what There Will Be Blood is supposed to be.
Deer
along
Hunter.
that route as well.
Yeah. Apocalypse Now, Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
What's the
There's
other one?
plenty of ways we could have spun this.
The Post, and then also the one I just watched. What's the one I just watched? About the Watergate. All the President's Men. I just watched that.
Oh, okay.
Bad memory moment by me. Hand up. But yeah, so that's our lists. Good draft. I feel good about
Great
that
draft, and we are cruising into what could be
this is arguably the biggest
Hunter's biggest week. How are you feeling? It's almost game time.
I'm okay. So let me just lay out my schedule this week. All right, let me just toss that out there for the folks. Tuesday. Okay, so Monday night, which is tomorrow. When you're listening to this podcast, if you're a day one listener, you're listening tonight. The social media embargo drops for Superman, and then I will be seeing it Tuesday night. I'm seeing it again Thursday night, and we're doing the podcast Sunday morning next week, and I'm going to see it again Sunday night. So I'm very excited. Obviously, this is a big week for me. I'm nervous, but I feel good. In gun, I trust. I'm ready. I'm ready to get hurt again. I'm ready to put myself out there again.
You know what? I applaud you for putting yourself out there.
Thank you.
Because if you don't do that, you can't feel.
Yeah. And as Superman would probably say, I'd rather hope than never hope. And I'm hoping right now. I hope. I feel hopeful.
As a band once said, don't stop believing.
Yeah. As Tom Cruise once sang in a movie, don't stop believing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I feel good about Superman though. I'm trying. I've been really good about avoiding spoilers at all costs, which I think is great. So I feel confident in that aspect, but I'm a little nervous going into it. I won't lie to you.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking about you this week. I am. Tuesday, when Tuesday comes around, I'm gonna be fingers crossed and trying to be really optimistic. You know, I think there's a lot of people out there that have caught like negative reviews and are trying to ride with it, but I think there's also people saying some great things as well that are going under the radar. That
a lot of haters out there.
It doesn't get as many clicks.
A lot of haters out there who want Superman to fail, and it's like I just don't get why.
We want Superman to succeed, and we want to see Batman and Superman team up, and the world will be right again.
Yeah, we do. So next week, big one, Super Bowl, basically next week. I'm ready. So yeah, peep the Letterboxd Tuesday night to see my review, and if it's bad, next week's gonna be either it's gonna be a great listen to or like steering off the side of the road into a tree because of my reaction. So good luck to the listeners out there. Sorry if it's bad. I won't be. It won't be. I'm confident.
And with that, we'll see you next week.
No, wait, breaking news. Can you do breaking news? Make it. Charles's flight that was supposed to get in 2 hours ago got delayed. They overfilled the plane. They had to redo the filling on the plane. Then they spilled the fuel on the tarmac, had to clean that up. Now is turning around and going back to Chicago. Yikes. Folks, I hope next week we even have Charles in the podcast. He might still be stuck in Chicago after this whole week. This is just, oh my God. How does that even happen?
Traveling these days, man. It's ridiculous.
He could have probably drove there. What's the drive to Chicago?
Oh, it's got to be a lot. Like
Chicago to Denver. Let's see the drive. All right. Maps. Come on, maps.
14, 15 is my bet.
Okay, 15. So 14 hours.
Oh,
he got to the airport at what, 2 p.m. today, 3 p.m. based on our initial conversation?
Yeah, I mean, could be close.
We're already at like 7. By the time they're going to go back to Chicago, they got to redo the plane. I bet he'd be pulling in the same time.
Renting out a car, I'm sure. Or would we? I don't even know if we can rent cars. We're not 25.
You can rent a car. They just cost more money.
Ridiculous.
I know. Come. It's unbelievable. All right. Well, hopefully next week we have Charles because he won't be stuck in Chicago anymore. But Superman, baby. Superman.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Until next week, everybody. Have a good one. Peace.